forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, Divya. Hi, Mario. How are
How's it
you?
going? Good. How are you?
Wonderful. So, what questions do we have today?
Of course. So to start off, we have a question from anonymous aspirant that says, "Are news article acceptable as evidence for past accomplishments? My friend needs to demonstrate that his role at a company 12 years ago was critical. Since the company's all investor reports are no longer available, he's considering using news article about the project as supporting evidence. He designed a recruitment portal that enabled the company to hire more than 15K people within 2 years. Would news article about the project be acceptable evidence to support the significance of his role?"
Yes, absolutely. It's a very good thinking that has come up actually. That in terms of if the annual reports are not available, but at the same time, a letter from a company's former officer or a current officer would be of great help also actually along with that. Okay, so this is wonderful actually. So in fact, these are the such kind of evidences that take you to a greater level and kind of solidify your case. That's what I would like to say there. So wonderful. Answer to that is yes everywhere actually. So let's move to the next question.
Yeah, certainly. So the next question is a little bit of a long one, but it's from an anonymous user. They said, "Hello, everyone. I recently finished my PhD in bioengineering from an R1 institution, and I'm exploring my chances of filing an EB-1A petition. I would deeply appreciate your genuine feedback on my profile, as well as any specific areas I should focus on improving before I apply. So here's a breakdown of my credentials categorized by potential EB-1A criteria. They have authorships and citations, publications, 7 peer-reviewed papers, all in Q1 journals, citations, about 115 total. Judging the work of others, they have peer reviews, completed 15 reviews of academic journals, conference reviewed and judged 2 conference posters, awards and prizes, major fellowships, awarded a highly prestigious fellowship, about 5 to 10% acceptance rate, won an invitational award within this fellowship with a $35,000 prize awarded to the top 3 out of the 1,000 applicants. They are part of the American Heart Association with which is a pre-doctoral fellowship. They've competed in competitions, a finalist in a university startup competition, winning a $20,000 prize. News articles, they have 2 in university press and media. Additional student awards, they have multiple university scholarships, 5 travel grants, and 2 best poster awards at university level symposiums. Note, I was also selected for a highly competitive internship in Germany with top 3 professors in my field, but had to decline due to other commitments. Also worked at a top tier research organization for 8 months. Given these numbers, do you think I have a strong case for EB-1A right now, or should I hold off and focus on building specific areas like my citation count? Any candidate advice, reality check, or recommendations for the next steps would be greatly appreciated. Thank you in advance."
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything that you have done as a student, as a career, would not count. Let that be very clear about it. And I would go by step. Your biomedical engineering and whatever work that you have done, you were selected for internship or you work for some professors for 6 months or 8 months, whatever. But the question is that just by working there does not make any difference. You may have been working at NASA, you may have been working at the best institutions in the world. The question is, what was the impact of your work? If your impact of your and that, what are the metrics for the success for the measurement of that actually? If that is not there, this would be of no use. Prima facie, I feel that okay, fine. What is your expertise field of endeavor, which is biomedical engineering? Looks very broad to me. It needs to get narrowed down for a specific case, for a specific purpose. Actually, there. Um, your invitational award fellowship, they may sound a good stepping stone. It shows that if this were an O1 visa, that could have been a possibly uh, decent chance, or I can say opportunity, that you could have tried through a lawyer. But for this particular case, I personally feel that there is a lot of things that you need to do. Not as a student. As a student, you might have accomplished a lot of things, but as a professional, there are further kind of argumentation of your profile that is required. Right now, you are not ready to file in our view. You need to do a couple of more things. Okay? So let's move to the next question now.
Of course. So the next one is another long question. It's a profile assessment. So he said, I am actually strong enough for EB-1A self-petition, or I am kidding myself. Astrophysics postdoc. I have been lurking here a while, and I'm finally working up my courage to ask. I'm an astrophysics cosmology postdoc currently in the U.S. on an O1, and I'm trying to figure out if I have a realistic shot at self-petition EB-1A, or if I should temper my expectations. Quick background. He said he has a PhD in astrophysics from a European institute about 6 years ago. He's an Indian citizen, so he knows the priority day situation is brutal. I did my first postdoc at one of the top Ivy League universities, and I'm now a postdoc at another U.S. university in the top 30. Around 22 papers, 16 published peer-reviewed journals, 7 as first author. He has around more than 4,000 citations. He wrote an open source software package that a handful of research groups abroad use, and one of the big telescope collaborations in my field uses interanalysis. He also has a peer review for a few journals, member of a few major collaborations in my area, some invited talks, including a couple of well-known institutes such as Princeton, Penn, and Stanford. I think I can get strong recommendation letters, including from some senior people, a couple of whom are independent, not my advisors or co-authors. Criteria, I think I can argue original contributions, authorship, judging others' work, and critical role, though I know that the last one is shaky for a postdoc. My real questions are, is this generally an EB-1A profile, or is it more of an NIW profile at this stage? For anyone who has self-petitioned in the research field, was it worth doing it without a lawyer, or did you get an RFE that made you wish you paid one?
Okay, I mean, I think a lot of this question comes from a preconceived notion that you just need to fit into some straight jacket EB-1A. There is a mold called EB-1A, and you need to fit into that. Again, as the previous question I am missing here is, what is the impact of your work? And when you talk of original contribution, what is that original contribution? Your paper you did some, if your field is astrophysics, some astronomical research. You found out something which was not done before. That's an original contribution. That's something that you have to do it. Just by being a part of it, or just being part of some entity, would not make an impact actually. So I personally feel that genuinely I think there is a lot of work, and there is a scope for enhancement for this particular profile that needs to be done. And I mean, for NIW, I don't want to comment. You can go to a lawyer, but prima facie, I feel this could be a good opportunity for NIW. But NIW will help you to lock in a priority date, nothing more than that. Okay. So what's the next question?
Certainly. So the next question they ask, what are the most common mistakes you see professionals while trying to build their profiles on their own?
I will simplify this question actually. I will say that, okay, what is the most common mistakes people do is that people believe that they need to fit into something called a mold of EB-1A actually, which is not the truth. Profile building does not mean trying to get citations. Profile building does not mean that you need to, gather just papers and evidences. Profile building does not mean you trying to fit into somewhere. Profile building basically means what are you doing in your field of expertise that can qualify you as an expert in your field of expertise? What work, what impact that you are creating in the world around you? What is the uniqueness about you for which you should be remembered? That is called profile building. I mean, profile building in a context of EB-1A now means possibly that, oh, I need to get more citations, I need to apply for more awards, I need to do this, I need to do that. It is not going to work. And USCIS has come very heavily on such profile building approaches, which has been there actually. So I would rather focus on, when we talk about, there are 3 dimensions of success for your EB-1A. The first is you need to be an expert in your field. If you are not an expert from a technocracy perspective, it could be finance, it could be art, it could be even any other subject for that matter, it could be software engineering, it could be coding. You need to go back to books and study first actually. Study research paper, what has been written. Before writing research paper, there is something called as a bibliography or references at the end. Are you just putting them or have you actually gone through that actually? This is something which is very important. Most of the researchers or most of the people whom I have seen is that they may not be aware of what's happening in the latest field of their own expertise and forget being the part of it. I think this is a mistake in terms of understanding what EB-1A is. And the last dimension is learning how to present yourself, how to write recommendation letters, how to draft, expert opinion letters, how to work with an attorney. These are the mistakes which people don't realize it. And people who have been able to successfully do it are successful. Okay? So let's move to the next question.
Yes, I feel this next question is a little bit similar to the last one, but someone said, how important is having a clear professional niche, and how should someone identify and define it?
Okay, I mean, this is a core part of the entire Next League program, the done process. We call it a define stage actually. We have got a patent for that. There is certain kind of exercises that one needs to do. But at a very, very broad level, I can tell you that it basically implies reverse engineering all your past achievements and giving it a name of an expertise. It basically means that, okay, fine, without that expertise, none of your achievements could have happened. It requires a very detailed deliberation in terms of understanding that what are the data required, what are the skills required to make this happen, what was the information that was used, what was the knowledge and wisdom that entailed you to achieve those successes, and then having an ability to able to list down those data, information, skill, knowledge and wisdom. And whether you have a progressive experience in your field of expertise or whether you just have a linear experience. Progressive experience means something that is incremental year after year. And linear experience means, you were working for 10 years. So basically whatever you did in the first year, you multiplied that by 10 years. No, for example, if you have been just doing that, or your 10-year progressive experience is nothing but a 3 years of linear experience. Or is it really a 10 years of kind of a progressive experience? That makes a difference. And what has been the impact of your work? So carving out a niche that reverse engineers everything what you have been talking about would be a good way of doing things. Okay, so let's move to the next question.
Certainly. So this next question, I feel we get a lot with aspirants that are about to join the program itself. But they ask, for someone with a demanding full-time job, how would you recommend balancing career responsibilities with building an EB-1A profile?
Oh, that's a very, very kind of an interesting question. We have seen, ladies who were in family way, they did their EB-1A and kind of did this. There were some ladies with their small babies. We have seen them. And why I'm talking about, because motherhood is the most demanding job. And there cannot be anything more demanding than that. So I'm not giving an example of any other professionals or people who work from 9 to 5, 9 to 10 jobs or 12-hour jobs. There are people who have been able to do that. We have seen them also actually, guys. but it's a matter of how do you follow your routine, number one. How do you spend your weekends? How much do you prioritize your EB-1A? You are doing EB-1A for a particular purpose. How much that purpose matters to me? How much that purpose matters to, that why matters to you, to what degree and to what extent? And we have seen people who have been kind of being successfully able to navigate that. But at the same time, we have also seen people who are not able to cope up with the stress. Is EB-1A not for them? No, I don't say that. It's just that you have to prioritize things. I like this question actually, because everybody is in demanding job right now. In today's world, nobody is going to give you a charity, allow you to take a leave. But yes, people manage all their leaves. We have seen people, we have 59 EB-1 achievers, all 59 EB-1A achievers. I doubt whether they would have taken a holiday and they would have kind of enjoyed their vacations while they were on the EB-1A journey. Later on, everybody will get time for everything. But when you prioritize a particular issue, that's the way how extraordinary ability people behave. You have to act and behave as if you are truly extraordinary in your own right. If you are able to do that, then it is successful. If you are not, well, you have to start your cycle again. I like this question very much actually. So that's wonderful. So let's move to the next question.
Sure thing. And the next question is, if you could give one piece of advice to someone hoping to file within the next 1 to 2 years, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a very kind of question. I mean, we cannot talk about just 1 year or 2 year. You need to, the filing, I think the question is little misplaced actually. The question should be, if somebody wants to become truly extraordinary in their own right in next 1 or 2 years, what should they do? I mean, this has very little to do with EB-1A for that matter first actually. If someone wants to become truly extraordinary in their own way, the first is that how much time there is a 10,000 our rule actually. And if you are, I think Malcolm Gladwell, if you are able to commit yourself to any job, any profession, any expertise for 10,000 hours, you become an expert in that particular field. So when you have to read books, understand the complexity of it, it's not about your EB-1A anymore. It's about you becoming the best version of yourself. What would it take? You become the best version of yourself, and within 6 months you will get your EB-1A. Let me put it that way. You can apply for EB-1A, you will be ready to apply. But the whole problem with most of the people, and this even translates to the previous question, is that people are not ready as yet. People are not the best version of themselves. They are truly not experts in their field, and they want to apply for EB-1A, and then they want to use, legal arguments or other metrics as crutches, like citation counts. Oh, I got so many citations. I got to say, but are you an expert in your field? That's the first question. How you define experts? Somebody who is an expert. Expert is not somebody who can talk about a particular subject. Expert is who solves a problem in that particular field. Now, fundamentally, what problems have you solved in your field of expertise? Solve problems. The problem, how many people have been impacted by that solution of yours? So if you are able to kind of articulate that, that would make sense actually. Otherwise, we are simply wasting it. Okay, and let's take the last question.
Yeah, absolutely. So our last question is from an anonymous user, and they asked, I'm preparing my EB-1A petition and have several current and former managers worked in India who are willing to write recommendation letters for me. I'm confused about what each letter should focus on. Should letters from my current company, previous companies, and independent recommenders support different EB-1A criteria? What kind of achievements or evidence should each highlight? Also, does the recommender's title or seniority matter? Is it better to use their professional email instead of a personal one? And what is preferred way for them to sign the letter?
I think it's a very operational question actually, that what constitutes an evidence. And I again repeat, this is not a legal advice, but what my understanding would be that this is for a critical role, as I can see that actually. This should be about your specific projects that you have handled. should be about your specific metrics that you have succeeded and how the organization benefited out of it. Actually, it should be mentioned out there. Seniority matters to an extent that anybody who giving you a letter has to be one level above. You cannot get a letter from somebody who is, kind of a junior to you or somebody who is lesser than you. That won't make any difference or impact actually here. That will be redundant, infructuous. So the letter should come from somebody who, whether the previous company, whether it's on letterhead or non-letterhead. I would always prefer traditionally a wet signature. But in today's digital world, if you can get something which is digitally signed, that is also okay. Okay, so that's all we have here. And if you have some more questions, please write to us. If you want to join here and ask questions, we'll be more than happy to help you out. And that's all for the day, guys. Wish you a happy weekend and wish you a very happy EB-1A journey. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.